Hello, friends. Today we are going to study about the flower. In this chapter, we have to study about the definition of the flower and the parts of the flowers and the variations seen in the floral organs. Now, let us try to define what is the flower. The flower is the group of reproductive organs of the following plants. It is the most conspicuous, highly attractive and important organ of the angiosperms, which is specialized for reproduction. After pollination and fertilization, flower develops into the fruit and the seeds. The seeds germinate to form or to develop into a new plant. Thus, the flower is nothing but the highly condensed and modified shoot means a stem, branch. Flower is nothing but the highly condensed and modified branch or shoot of the limited growth which is specialized for sexual reproduction, or a shoot of limited growth performing the function of reproduction. Reproduction means the production of the new plants, new seedlings from already existed genomic material in the form of the seeds. So we call it as reproduction or a sort of multiplication. Re means again and again from the source, the production, reproduction. This is called as reproduction. So this is about the definition of the flower. Flower is nothing but a modified branch or a shoot which is specialized for or which do the function of reproduction, multiplication. Reproduction means multiplication from the existing one. The existing plant is multiplied with the help of the flower by developing the fruits and seeds in it. So this is a reproductive organ of the plant body. We call it as flower. We call it as the flower. Now, this particular flower have the typical parts. The next point is about the parts of the typical flower. The typical flower shows bract, pedicel, thalamus, perianth, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. These are the parts of the typical flower. The typical flower, if we visualize, for example, over here, this is the figure which shows the different organs seen in the typical flower. The typical flower have the axis. This is the axis, vertical axis, and this vertical axis shows the parts like, suppose this vertical axis have this part which is called as pedicel, that is the stalk of the flower. It is called as the stalk of the flower. And beyond the stalk or pedicel, there is this part, we call it as thalamus. This is the seat or the chair on which the floral organs are seated, or they are rested. For example, on this is the thalamus, and on the thalamus the green sepals are developed, the petals are developed, they are seated, or they are occupied there. Occupy is the place on the thalamus. Then stamens are there, the gynoecium is there, ovary is there, female part is there. So this is about the thalamus, which is a chair. Chair means we use it to sit. So just as we use the chair to sit, the thalamus is the organ of the flower on which the floral parts like sepals, petals, androecium, gynoecium, they are seated or they are organized. So this is about the thalamus and how the different organs are organized or they are seated on it. This is about the structure of the flower, showing a vertical axis. The vertical axis includes the pedicel and the important organ thalamus. On the thalamus, the various floral leaves, floral organ, floral parts are developed. The sepals, petals, stamens, gynoecium, these are organized, they are seated, they are developed on the thalamus. So pedicel and thalamus and the pleural leaves, these are the organs of the typical flower. These are the organs of the typical flower. These are the organs of the typical flower. Now, for example, over here we have elaborated what is the pleural axis. The pleural axis corresponds to the flow axis of the shoot. The pleural axis has small leaf-like structures associated with the flower. It is called as bract, and it may be reduced leaf-like structure, may be colored or leaf-like. A small bract-like structure borne singly or in pairs on the pedicel or calyx is called bracteole. The axis consists of two parts, the stalk or the pedicel and the thalamus. So this is important. The pleural axis, what it composes? It composes the stalk of the flower, we call it as the pedicel. And the another part of the pleural axis is the thalamus. Another part, thalamus means a chair of the pleural leaves. On which the pleural leaves they are rested. Now, as we have discussed, the pedicel is nothing but the stalk of the flower. Stalk किंवा मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला फुलाचा देठ असं म्हणतो. The stalk of the flower is called as pedicel. The stalk of the flower is called pedicel, and the thalamus is nothing but the chair of the pleural leaves on which the pleural parts are rested. Pleural parts are rested. Now the pleural leaves, next point is the pleural leaves. The typical flower has 4 kinds of pleural leaves arranged on 4 successive whorls on the thalamus. Whorls mean the rings. The pleural whorls are present in the form of the circular rings. So there is suppose in the typical flower, normal hypogynous flower, the first ring is of a green sepals or calyx. The second ring is of corolla, made up of the petals. The third ring is of the stamens. Which composes the androecium. And the last ring or last whorl pleural leaves is called as gynoecium. The gynoecium is made up of the carpels. Now there are certain flowers which instead of showing the calyx and a corolla, the green calyx and colored petals, instead of these organs, there is another specialized organ looking colored. This is called as perianth. For example, in Nishigandha flower, there are no calyx, there are no petals, and instead of the petals and sepals, instead of corolla and calyx, there are colored perianths are there. In majority of the monocot flowers, there are no petals and sepals. Instead, there are the perianths. So this is about the calyx, corolla, and the perianths. The calyx are nothing but the outermost ring or whorl of the pleural leaves, and it is made up of, the calyx is made up of, or calyx are composed of the sepals. The different elements composing the calyx are the sepals. Sepals composes. The sepals are green. They may be 5 in number, 4 in number, or 3 in number, depending upon the flower. And these green structures, leaf-like structures, composes or forms the calyx. Now, after the calyx, the second pleural leaves are called as corolla. This is the second whorl of the pleural leaves we called it has corolla, and it is made up of, or it is composed of the petals. Suppose the flowers, they may show 5 petals, 4 petals, or 3 petals, depending upon the type of the flower. And these petals are of various colors: white colored, yellow colored, red colored, blue colored. Different colored petals are there, which composes the corolla. And as we discuss, there are certain flowers where instead of calyx and corolla, the third specialized organ is there. We call it as perianth. For example, it is seen in the tuberose. Tuberose means your nishigandha plant. There are perianths are there, white colored perianths are there, and in addition to the nishigandha flower, there are certain other plants. For example, your shevga plant, drumstick plant. In drumstick plant there, and many lilies, monocots, there are no calyx and corolla, and instead of calyx and corolla, there are the perianths. There are the perianth as the attractive organs which attracts the pollinating agents for pollination. Now, after calyx, corolla, and perianths, the next floral leaves are, it is called as androecium. This is the, we can call this as the third whorl placed inside or above the corolla ring. It is male reproductive organ of the flower. This is the male part of the flower. This is the male part of the flower, and this androecium is made up of stamens. Androecium is made up of the stamens. For example, over here, this is the figure showing stamens. This is the single stamen. The single stamen shows the stalk-like structure. This is called as filament, and this is bicelled, bilobed structure is called as anther. Bilobed structure is called as the anther. Now, this particular anther shows microsporangia or pollen grain containing sacs or locules in it. Suppose this is the section of the anther showing 4 locules or sacs. Sacs means cavities, or in Marathi we called it as kappe आपण त्याला म्हणूया, where the pollen grains, Pukeshar, pollen grains are developed in the microsporangia, or in these pollen sacs, the pollens are developed. In these pollen sacs, the pollens are developed. So this is about the third whorl, androecium, the male part, androecium. Now, after the third whorl, there is the last whorl of the flower. We called it as gynoecium. The fourth whorl of the floral leaves, each modified floral leaf is called as carpel. Now, this particular gynoecium is made up of carpels. Carpels composes the gynoecium. They collectively form gynoecium or the pistil. Carpels consist of 3 parts. The basal swollen part of the carpel is called as ovary, and the slender tube-like part above the ovary is called as style, and the tip of the style is called as stigma. For example, over here, this is the typical gynoecium. Or a typical gynoecium at the best it shows this is the ovary. This is a swollen part. We call it as ovary. This is style, and these are the stigmas. Now, this particular ovary is made up of the carpels. So, this fourth organ consists of ovary, style, and the stigma. And so thus the fourth is the female organ of the flower. Female part of the flower, we called it as gynoecium. The gynoecium is made up of, or it is composed of, the carpels, and a single carpel shows the basal swollen part. We called it as ovary, This, the slender part we call it as style, and the style terminates at the tip. There is a pollen receptive structure, we call it as stigma. Pollen receptive structure, we call it as stigma. Now, after this, about the sexuality of the flower. The flower is said to be complete when it has all four whorls. So this is the term which we have to remember. What is the complete flower? The complete flower is one which contains all the four whorls. The flower showing calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. These are the four whorls. When the four whorls are present, calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, when all of the four floral leaves are present, four whorls of the flower they are present, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium, the flower is called as complete. Such flowers, the flower is called as complete. And whenever out of the four, one of the organ is missing, the flower is called as incomplete. For example, just before we have discussed that in certain flowers, instead of calyx and corolla, there are the perianth. For example, in tuberose, drumstick, moringa, sheuga plant, where there is no calyx and corolla, and instead of calyx and corolla, there are perianths. So such flower where one of the organ, some of the organs are missing and the different organ is present. So such flowers are called as incomplete flowers. Such flowers are called as the incomplete flowers. Such flowers are called as the incomplete flowers. Now, when both the stamens and carpels are present and they are functional, the flower is referred to as, or it is called as bisexual. Bi means two. Both the sexes are present, the male part and the female part, the androecium and gynoecium. When they are present and both of them, when they are functional, the flower is called as bisexual. And when one of them is absent, then the flower is called as unisexual. The flower is called as unisexual. For example, there are certain plants where the flowers are unisexual. For example, in coconut, cucurbits, in your papaya plant, the male flowers are separate, the female flowers are separate. So male flower contain a male reproductive organ, androecium, composing the stamens. So the stamens composing the androecium is present in the male flowers, and the female flowers showing gynoecium composed of the carpels, the female reproductive part. So male flowers are separate, female flowers are separate. Such flowers are called as unisexual. Uni means one, sexual means sex. Only one sexual organ, either male or female, when it is present, the flower is called as unisexual. In staminate flowers, only stamens are present. Staminate flowers means the male flowers, which contain the stamens, which shows they are called as staminate flowers. They are called as the staminate flowers. The staminate flowers contain stamens only, whereas there are certain plants where there are the female flowers. The female flowers are called as pistillate flowers. Female flowers are called as the pistillate flowers. Now, to visualize you, for example, there are certain plants where the pistillate flowers are present. For example, we have studied inflorescence, capitulum. In capitulum inflorescence, the ray florets are there at the peripheral region. At the periphery of the inflorescence, the attractive ray florets are there, and these attractive ray florets, they contains only the female part, only the ovary part, female part, gynoecium is there. The male reproductive organ part in the ray florets, it is absent, and such flowers are called as pistillate flowers, which shows only the female part, gynoecium is present. So such flowers are called as pistillate flowers. Now when stamens and carpels are non-functional and the flowers are said to be neuter or sterile, sometimes both the stamens and both the androecium and gynoecium is present, but they are non-functional. They do not produce the fruits and seeds. The flowers are called as sterile flowers. The flowers are said to be sterile. The plant which bear both the male and female flowers on the same plant, it is called as monoecious. It is called as the monoecious. The plant which bear both the male and female flowers on the same plant, the plant is called as monoecious. Monoecious. So this is about the monoecious. Mono means one. Mono means one. When both the sexes are present on the same plant, both the sexes are present on the same plant, either in the one flower or the different flowers. It is called as monoecious. For example, in hibiscus flowers are bisexual, which contains both the male sex organ as well as the female sex organ in the same flower. This is called as monoecious. Whereas in your another example, for example, maize, maca plant, the male flowers are separate, they are present at the top. मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला म्हणतो की मकाला तुरा आला, which is present at the top tip region of the plant body. It is the bunch of the male flowers, and it have the cob. त्याच्या बेझल पार्टला कनिस नावाचा पार्ट असतो, which is made up of numerous female flowers. So both the female flowers and male flowers, they are present on the same plant. It is called as monoecious. It is called as monoecious. So this is about the monoecious. When both the male and female organ part of the flower is present in the same flower or in the different flower, and they are present on the same plant, it is called as monoecious, present on the mono plant, one plant body bearing both the sexual organs. In certain cases, male and female flowers are produced on separate plants. It is referred to as dioecious. For example, papaya. In papaya plant, the male plant is separate, the female plant is separate. This is called as dioecious. Male plant is separate, the female plant is separate. This is called as dioecious. This dioecious condition is seen in papaya plant. It is also seen in your casuarina, suru plant. The male plant is separate, the female plant is separate. So this is the separation of the sexuality, the separation of the sexuality. The plants are called as dioecious. The plants are called as dioecious. The plants are called as dioecious. Now, the next point is about the symmetry of the flower. Next point is about the symmetry of the flower. Now, this point is in relation to the organization of the floral whorls, how they are, their size, shape, and how they composes the particular flower. The symmetry is the arrangement of the floral members with respect to the imagination of the central axis. The number, shape, size, and arrangement of the floral leaves in a flower determines the symmetry. On the basis of symmetry, the flowers are described as follows. Suppose the first type is called actinomorphic. The first type is actinomorphic type of flower. It is also called as regular or symmetrical flower. It is also called as regular or the symmetrical type of the flower. In such flower, all the parts of the floral whorls are similar in the size, shape, and evenly arranged on the thalamus. Such flower, when we cut in any plane, vertical plane, produces two equal halves, Such a radially symmetrical flower is called as actinomorphic. It is called as actinomorphic. For example, hibiscus, mustard, vinca. Vinca means your sadapuli plant. Vinca means the sadapuli plant. So this is about the actinomorphic flowers. So what they have written? In such flower, all the floral parts of the floral whorls are similar in size and shape and are evenly arranged on the thalamus. Such flower, when cut in any plane, produces two equal parts, two equal halves. Such a radially symmetrical flower is called as actinomorphic. So this is about the description of what is actinomorphic type of the flower. Now, for example, over here, this is the image of the symmetrical flower. Now, this particular flower, we can divide it into two equal parts when we cut it by this plane. Now, the same flower, if we cut it by this plane, it is divided into two equal parts. Now, the same flower, suppose if we cut it by this plane, the two equal parts are formed. So, such flowers which permits us to divide into the equal parts, such flower is called as actinomorphic. So, actinomorphic flower is one which allows us to divide it into many equal parts. म्हणजे मराठीमध्ये आपण असं म्हणू शकतो की ॲक्टिनोमॉर्फिक फ्लॉवर अशा फ्लॉवरला म्हणायचं की त्याला उभ्या प्लेनने आपण कितीही वेळा कट केलं तर सारखे भाग होतील. So just the actinomorphic flower is just like a circle. We can divide the circle into two equal parts. We can divide the circle into four equal parts. We can divide the circle into 8 equal parts by cutting it in the vertical plane. By cutting it in the vertical plane. So such flowers are called as actinomorphic flowers, which can be divided into equal parts when we cut them in many vertical planes. म्हणजे ॲक्टिनोमॉर्फिक फ्लॉवर आपल्याला अलाउ करतं की you can divide the flower into many equal parts. Now, as compared to the actinomorphic flower, now the next type of the symmetrical flower is the zygomorphic. Now, zygomorphic flower, it is also called as irregular flower. It is also called as irregular flower. Here, members of different floral whorls are not similar to each other and also not evenly distributed on the thalamus. Such flower can be bilaterally symmetrical or can be divided into two equal parts when passed through only one longitudinal plane or through center. So, this is about the meaning of the zygomorphic flower. The zygomorphic flower allows us to divide into two equal parts. Suppose this is the flower. Now this flower, suppose if we try to cut in the vertical plane, this one part is formed, this another part is formed. So two equal parts are formed. Now suppose if we try to divide the same flower by two vertical planes, by one, this is one plane, this is another plane, the four parts will be formed. But the four parts thus formed, suppose this part number 1, part number 2, part number 3, part number 4, four parts are formed. But the four parts are not of equal size and shape. So they differ from each other. So such flower is called as zygomorphic, which allows us to divide it into only two equal parts when we cut it by in this plane, and it does not allow to divide it into the many equal parts when we cut them in many vertical planes. So this is sort of division allowing us to divide the flower only into the two equal parts by only one vertical division. By only one vertical division, for example, like this. We can make the two equal parts. So this is the difference between the actinomorphic flower and the zygomorphic flower. the actinomorphic flower allows us to divide into many equal parts, whereas the zygomorphic flower allows us to divide and to form only two equal parts. So this is the difference between the two. Now, in addition to the actinomorphic and zygomorphic flowers, there are certain plants where the asymmetrical flowers are there. For example, in Canna, Kardal plant, these flowers cannot be cut into two equal parts, parts means the hulls, along any plane. Such flowers are called as asymmetrical flower. A means absent. Symmetrical. Symmetrical means likeness, similarness. All organs are of different shapes and sizes. All whorls are of different shapes and sizes. And such flower we can't divide even into two equal parts by one division. So one vertical plane of cutting can't divide such flowers into two equal parts. Such type of flowers are called as asymmetrical type of the flower. Now after this, the next point is about the insertion of the floral leaves on the thalamus. Thalamus means the chair of the floral leaves. Chair. मराठीमध्ये आपण ज्याला खुर्ची म्हणतो, which is used to sit. So just as we use the chair to sit, the flower shows the thalamus. On the thalamus, the floral leaves are organized or they are seated, and depending upon the position of the different organs seated on the thalamus, the three types of the flowers are there. One is called as hypogynous, the second is called perigynous, and the third is called as epigynous. So hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. Now these are the words which shows something common. Gynous, hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous, and epigynous. So gynous means this is a relation with the gynoecium, ovary, and hypo, the word indicates hypo means below. Hypo means below the gynoecium, hypogynous. Now peri, around. Epi, above. Epi means above. So this is the meaning of what is hypo, what is gynous, what is peri, what is gynous, what is epi, what is gynous. Now let us start with the hypogynous flower. Let us start with the hypogynous flower. Hypo means below, gynous means the gynoecium. What is below? All the three organs, for example, over here, sepals are below, petals are below, stamens are below, and the ovary is above. Such ovary is called as superior. So hypogynous flower is one where the calyx, corolla, and roscium, these three organs are below, ovary is highly above. The ovary is called as superior, and such flower is called as hypogynous. Hypo means below, gynous means the gynoecium. In hypogynous flower, ovary is above and all other organs are below. Calyx, corolla, and roscium, they are below, and ovary is superior. The flower is called as hypogynous. For example, such flowers are seen in our datura plant, in our hibiscus plant, in mustard plant. Such flowers are the classical examples of the hypogynous nature of the flower. Now beside this, we have discussed some days before your citrus plant, limbu, santra, mosambi. These plants show the very superior ovary. they show the very superior ovary. So the citrus fruits, limbu, santara, mosambis, these fruits, the flowers are hypogynous. These flowers are called as the hypogynous flowers. Now, after hypogynous, the second type of the flowers are called as perigynous. Second type of the flowers are called as the perigynous. Peri means around, gynous, gynoecium. Around the gynoecium, the other organs are present. For example, calyx, corolla, and androecium. They are present in circle around the gynoecium, and all of them they are present in one line. All of them they are present in the one line. For example, this is seen in rose, in your gulab plant, in tarwad plant, in apata plant. This is the classical organization of, this is the classical type of organization of the floral parts in one line. Nobody is above, nobody is below. Calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, all of them they are present in at one height. Or we can also describe it as by the way of the gynoecium is in the center, and around the gynoecium on the equal height, around the gynoecium on the same height, the calyx, corolla, androecium, they are present. The flower is said to be perigynous. Peri means round the gynoecium. Around the gynoecium on the same height, the flower is called as perigynous. Now, the third type of the flowers are called as epigynous flowers. The third type of the flowers are called as epigynous flowers. For example, epigynous type of flowers are seen in your Nishigandha plant. It is also seen in your, we have discussed the example of cucurbits, dangar, bhopala, kakdi. These plants, they show the inferior ovary. Ovary is below, rest of the organs are above. Calyx, corolla, androecium, they are above, ovary is below. For example, it is seen in cucurbits, kakdi plant, bhopala plant, dangar plant, karle plant, ghosale plant. These plants, they show the inferior ovary. Ovary is at the, ovary is below, and rest of the organs are highly above. Rest of the organs are highly above. Such type of ovary is called as inferior ovary. Now, in addition, we have discussed the example of your coriander, dhane flower. Coriander, dhane flower, where the dhana is nothing but the ovary. It is a fruit developed from the green ovary present in the flower. So, in coriander, the round oval ovary is below, and white petals and rest of the floral parts are above. In coriander, the flower is epigynous. Epi, above, gynoecium. So, epi, above, gynoecium. Epi, who is above the gynoecium? Calyx, corolla, androecium, they are above, they are epi. Epi, who is epi? Calyx, corolla, androecium, they are epi, above the gynoecium, and the ovary, gynoecium is below. For example, over here, this is the ovary, and above the ovary, the calyx, corolla, androecium, they are above, they are epi. The calyx, corolla, androecium, they are epi. They are epi, and the ovary is below. Ovary is below. This is called as inferior ovary, and such inferior ovary bearing flowers are called as epigynous. Now, another classical example of epigynous flower is in the tuberose Nishigandha plant. The green ovary is at the base, and rest of the organs, perianth, stamens, they are above. They are above. So such flowers are called as epigynous flowers. Such flowers are called as the epigynous flowers. Now, in addition to this, there is a Mayer's condition. The floral part, they are present in the number. in how much number they are present, in how much multiple they are present. This is called as Mayer's condition. This is called as Mayer's conditions. For example, the first type of Mayer's condition is a trimerous. For example, in monocot plants, in like lilies, the floral parts are present in the number of threes, in terms of the threes, in multiple of the threes. 3 sepals are there, 3 petals are there, 3 stamens are there, 3 carpels are there. So 3, 3, 3, 3. In terms, in the number of 3 order, 3 petals, 3 sepals, 3 stamens, 3 carpels. Or in multiple of 3, there may be 3 sepals, 6 petals, 6 stamens, and 3 carpels. 3 carpels. Such flowers are called as a trimerous. किंवा मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला म्हणू की फुलाचे पार्ट, द फ्लोरल पार्ट्स आर प्रेझेंट इन द ऑर्डर ऑफ 3, in multiple of the 3. 3 is the unit. 3, 6, 9. So in the order of 3, the floral whorls are present. The flower is called trimerous. Now, in addition to the trimerous, sometimes the flower shows the tetramerous condition. For example, here in the mustard mohri plant, in carrot plant, the tetramerous condition is there. In Ixora, numerous examples are there where the floral parts are present in the number of 4. Such flowers, they show 4 sepals. Sepals are 4 in number. The petals are 4 in number. The stamens are also 4 in number. So in the number of 4, in multiple of the 4, the floral whorls are present. The flower is called as tetramerous. Tetra means 4. For example, such flowers are seen in the dicotyledon plant. Dicotyledon plants. Such flowers are seen. Such flowers are seen. Now the last type of Mayer's condition is the pentamerous flowers. Last type of Mayer's condition is the pentamerous flower. Penta means 5. The floral parts are present in 5 number. 5 sepals are there, 5 petals are there, 5 stamens are there. So in the order of 5, the floral organs are there. For example, over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 petals are there, 5 sepals are there, 5 stamens are there. Such flowers are seen in dicotyledonous plant. For example, in jaswand plant, 5 petals are there, 5 sepals are there. So this is 5 stamens are there. So in the order of 5, the floral organs are present. So this is all about the Mayer's condition, about the insertion of the floral whorls on the thalamus, hypogynous flower, perigynous flower, epigynous flower, hypogynous, perigynous, and epigynous, and the examples of such flowers. So with this we have finished up over here the introductory part of the flower. So with this we stop over here. Dhanyavad. If you have any doubts regarding any term, any word in today's video, you can ask me the question on the group. I will reply with the best of my abilities. In fact, we have already discussed on the group the different examples, common examples of the flowers which we came across around our houses, in the fields, in our campus, and the flowers and the fruits which we usually eat as vegetables, and which increases the beauty of our campus, our houses, surroundings. So we have to observe the flowers, and we have to prepare them. We have to get acquainted with the different terms used to describe those flowers. So with this I stop over here. Dhanyavad.